Hey, everybody, halftime. Not a good second quarter for Sacramento. They were outscored by 10 in that second quarter. It is now 61-48 Miami, and Sabonis picked up his third foul at the end of the half. So Kings are not in a good position right now to go 3-1 on this road trip. And a 2-2 road trip is not good. Normally you go 500 on the road, you're happy. Not with the quality of opponents on this trip, in my opinion, but there's a long way to go.
Yeah, you're right about that, especially with the stretch coming up after
Oh,
this.
boy.
Once you return home and then go back out, it's going to be a tough one, Napes. And then you got Malik Monk, 4 fouls in the
I
first
know.
half as well.
I'm not as worried about him as much, although I should be because of the position he plays, and I'm glad you brought
Yeah.
that up. Uh, Ryan, DeMar DeRozan, I'm trying to think where would the Kings be without him right now? I mean, as we bring in Jerry Reynolds, and we'll get to that in a second, but I mean, DeMar DeRozan, if you took him off this roster right now, I don't know if the Kings would have more than a win. But with that said, there is foul trouble. Jerry, it's good to have you on. It was not a good second quarter for the Kings, Jerry. They were outscored by 10 in that second stanza.
Yeah, especially right down the stretch of the half, I thought they really let loose the rope a little bit. And certainly a big part of that, I think, was there's foul trouble with Domas and Malik Monk. And, the Kings just aren't just, they need contribution from both those guys. But you said without DeMar, I'm not sure who can score. I mean, for a team that's supposed to be able to score a lot of points. And I mean, he's been able to get his shots. And so, but hey, it's 3-point shooting. Same old. Kings can't make them, and the other team does at a high percentage. I don't know what else to say.
That's the same story as last year. That is the exact same story as last year. The Kings could not win any other way, although there were some exceptions towards the end of the season when Mike Brown had to go more of a defensive lineup. But really, the Kings lived and died by the three. And Jerry and Ryan, you guys, that's not atypical of a lot of teams in the NBA right now, but it seems to be more on Sacramento. They can't beat you any other way.
Well, the point is, which is really frustrating or a little scary to me, is that they've been a good 3-point shooting team the last couple of years. And now they may have depended on it more than some others, but they could make them. This year, they're not making them. And they didn't make them in the preseason. I don't really know what the answer is, but you've got guys who had good 3-point percentages, just not making them at the same rate. And like we saw in the first half, if that doesn't change, it's going to be tough for the Kings to win.
Ryan, 3 or 14 from 3.
Yeah, exactly right. Coming in tonight, 21% from the 3-point line when they're open. That's incredible to think of, to your point, Jerry. And it just seems like this team with rhythm, it's either all rhythm or no rhythm at all. And I feel like the 3-ball is the result, what we're seeing when this team does not play with rhythm. And the only time we saw it in the second half was the Jordan McLaughlin minutes off the bench.
Yeah, that's a good point. I thought he played well. It's the good news is he played well. The bad news is he's a small guard, like so many.
Yeah.
He can only play so many small players at once. But yeah, the point about the rhythm is true. And I think what you're seeing from Miami and maybe some other teams, they figured out that the Kings do need to make a lot of threes and get threes. And you're seeing a lot more ball pressure. You're seeing like tonight, you're seeing wings really. It's tough to move the ball. Other than DeRozan, who has terrific one-on-one skills and can back people down and get good shots, but it's really been tough. You could count on one hand all the easy shots.
I'll tell you what's concerning me, and I know it's early in the season, so I don't want to make too much out of it. But Jerry, I talked about this on the post-game show after the Kings lost to Toronto. The glaring weakness on the Kings right now is their bench. Their bench needs to get better. Either the players that are coming in off the bench need to play better, or Monte McNair needs to figure this out. The bench right now, to me, is a real weak spot on this team.
Oh, couldn't agree more. And I thought they're really showing up in the preseason even. I mean, they just don't have a deep enough bench. Now, with Herter healthy and Carter healthy, well, those are ifs, but they're not. And then Orlando Robinson, we don't even know what he could do. Can he help this team or not?
Bingo.
And so the bench could be, within a week or so, we might see it very different. But so far, and I agree 1,000%. I mean, this bench as it is currently is not good enough, and it's just too much pressure on the starters.
And Grant, to your point, that makes the pick of Devin Carter all that more confusing. If you knew your bench might not be the strongest and you picked him knowing that he's going to be out for 6-8 months.
Not only that, when you had a Dalton Connect sitting there at a need that you really had to have, and he looks like he's going to be the real deal. But in all fairness, I need to see Carter play for a period of time. He might be a very good player, so I don't want to throw him under the rug right now. But yeah, you lost a player that was really helping you from the bench last year, particularly in the last 8 weeks of the season in Davion Mitchell. So you lose him, you really didn't replace him because the guy you were going to replace him with is hurt, and we don't know when he's going to play.
Yeah, I would say that's the thing why we got to be patient here, because if the kid turns out not just to be a player, but a really good one,
Yep.
which I've heard certainly some people that I trust feel that he will be. But in the meantime, you've lost a half a season. But if he turns out to be one of the half dozen best guys in the draft, then
it's okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't see the Kings winning this game, Ryan. I hate to say it. For the second game in a row, I'm picking the opponent. I think Miami is going to win this game, and I'm going to say they're going to win it 120-108.
Yeah, Grant, I'm with you. Miami's held their last 3 opponents, 2 of them to 98 points. I think the offensive struggles continue tonight for the Kings with the foul trouble. I'm going to say Miami 119, Sacramento 99.
Yeah, I've got it kind of about 112 Miami, 98 Kings. I just think the offense, it's tough to get enough offense going.
Jerry, is Miami really that good defensively, or are we looking at a combination of the Kings not shooting well and good Miami defense?
A little of both. I think Miami's certainly above average in the league. Probably in the top 7 or 8 defensive teams, in my opinion. I think they'd be there. But the Kings offensively just are out of sync. There's no doubt.
Yep.
I mean, you really need, Fox. Fox has really got to get going. Now he's a guy who can. They need 20 points out of Fox in the second half, and probably Monk, even though he's in foul trouble, to go be Malik Monk. And because you're going to have to create some shots, and they haven't been able to do it very well.
And other games in the West that we're keeping an eye on, the Warriors look like they're going to win again. They're up by 10 in the fourth quarter in Washington, whereas the Lakers are in a real fight. They're losing to the Pistons right now, 95-86, with 7 minutes left to go in that game. And the Grizzlies and the Nets are locked up in a tight game. It's 63-62. Brooklyn right now with 7 minutes left to go in the third. The Rockets are leading the Knicks by 13. The Jazz, we don't even need to talk about them, but they're leading the Bulls. And the Thunder, they are playing a depleted Orlando Magic team, and they lead 18-12. Hornets, Timberwolves tied at 24. But, in this West, and we keep on talking about this, we're going to get down to game 75. And we're going to, I think, be in the same situation we were in last year, where you have 5 or 6 teams that are within 2 games of one another. I really believe that. Don't say games in November are not important. They are important. And we learned that last year, guys.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely. I think it may be even more that way, Grant. We talked about it earlier. I think there's a couple of teams talent-wise just looks like they might be. Phoenix to me looks a lot better as well. Orlando or Oklahoma City, Dallas, and Minnesota will be there. Now, who else is there? That's the real issue, because there's about 5 teams, and you mentioned Golden State. They're playing without Curry,
right,
and playing extremely well. Who saw that coming?
Nobody.
And don't count out the Pelicans if they get healthy the second half of the season.
Oh boy. Yeah, they're without their starting backcourt right now. That's brutal for them.
Yeah, and Murphy's not even playing yet, I think.
Yep.
And of course, Zion, how he's out again for a game or something. I don't know. But yeah, they're going to get it together. So, the Kings have got to play. Let's face it, they've just got to play a lot better than we've seen thus far. That's all.
Jerry, is it just 3-point shooting that can win the game for the Kings in the second half, or do you see that they have to do just more than that?
Well, I think they have to do more than that. I don't know that you would at this stage where you can count on them hitting 50% of the threes. That would certainly help. But I think it's going to take really some individual kind of things from Fox, which he's capable of, and Monk, guys that can break down this really good defensive team of the Heat. I mean, they're putting a good pressure on them, so you got to make them pay for it. So a little bit like DeRozan is doing, but you need a couple other guys to join the fray.
Jerry, I'm sure you're probably watching the same broadcast I am. There's being a lot made around the team about Mike Brown not opening up the entire playbook yet. What does that mean to you? And is that because of the players available to Coach Brown right now?
I don't really know. I don't know how many secret plays there are to, all I know, if you got a couple of secret things up your sleeve with the playbook, I'd start getting them out there.
Yeah, doesn't it seem a little bit obscure? I mean, is there a reason to be holding back this early in the season?
I can't see what it would be, not with a veteran team.
That's a bunch of crap. He's not holding back anything. I don't know who the hell's saying that stuff. That's garbage. I mean, let's deal with reality. The Kings right now are through an entire preseason, and they're playing game number 7. This isn't the National Football League where, you have X's and O's that you are diagramming for the opponent every week, and you have 100 plays. We're talking about the freaking NBA, right? So I don't know what the hell was said on the broadcast, but that's a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, especially too. I mean, you don't have an offensive coordinator like you do in the
No,
NFL
come on.
where they're beaming in, and you got 10 seconds between plays and things like that.
Well, and it's not just that. This is a free-flowing offense. How many times do we hear that? It's predicated off of reads, it's rhythm, it's all those things.
Well, yeah, and to your point, I mean, that's what I say. I mean, if this was a young team, I'd get that.
Yes.
It's not a young team. It's a veteran team. So I don't know.
Jerry, if I am Eric Spoelstra right now, I'm probably saying to myself, the only way I'm going to lose this game is if Malik Monk has one of his halves that he's capable of with his offense. He's got 4 fouls. Do you think Spoelstra's game plan in this second half when Monk is on the floor defensively will be go right at him?
Oh, absolutely. Eric Spoelstra will say, hey, keep beating up Sabonis. Maybe he'll react and get some more. If we can get Sabonis out of the game and keep Monk from having a game, it's going to be pretty hard for the Kings to win the ball game.
Yeah. Guys, always great to chat with you, Jerry. I'm looking forward to having you on the show Wednesday with Ryan and yours truly. So we'll look forward to doing that. We're going to switch your time slot from Tuesday to Wednesday at 4:00. You'll follow the great Sean Salisbury. I know that's a lot of pressure on you, Jerry, but I think you can do it.
Well, I don't know if I can or not, but I appreciate the fact that I can go on with you guys. I'll have an extra day to prepare, which helps. And of course, after this, and then the rest of the day, I'm going to be switching a little bit to the Chiefs game. I got to tell
I understand, Jerry.
I'm pulling a Napier now. I'm going to try to watch 2 things at once. So,
well, you just said the key word. You're trying. Okay,
trying.
You're not really doing it.
Illusions about being able to do what you did. No, it's not possible. That's why I've also recorded the game. So,
Ryan, I would have a big monitor in front of me.
I've heard.
And Jerry would be, and I didn't miss a play of the Giants game while I was doing the Kings game.
Unbelievable, right? And I mean, and he's the play-by-play. I mean, and I kept thinking, well, how can you watch this game and be talking about the game in front of us?
Yeah, but if you've spent any times with Nate, you've spent a ton of times with him. He's doing a couple things at once. You know what I mean? There's always a couple things going on.
Oh, yeah, he could do it. I mean, I could barely keep up with one game, barely. And, my main focus was maybe just figuring out how to get to the restroom at the half.
Hey, Jerry, on that note, we will let you go to the restroom right now, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday.
See you guys Wednesday. Can't wait.
Thanks, Jerry. Too good.
What an absolute beauty he is.
So great. I can't believe you requested that trade from Tuesdays to Wednesdays, Grant. Man.
Incredible. We'll see you in an hour, everyone. Thank you very much. Back here on the post-game show with your phone calls if you don't like that. Bye-bye.